Tender Diagnosis, romance novel by Maria Barnett. Prologue. At the stroke of 2:30 a.m., my pager's insistent beep disrupted the tranquility of the room. The night wrapped around me, its velvety darkness contrasting to the urgency that now pulsed through my veins. I got out of bed with a sigh and slipped into my white coat, its fabric cool against my skin, a shield against the impending chaos. My wife, Nancy, flipped the light switch. She took one look at me and shook her head. "Again, Benjamin? This can't go on. Your dedication to your job is swallowing us whole." I could sense her frustration, the unresolved tension that had been building over the years. She had every right to be upset. I'd been home less than an hour and was already leaving again. I moved closer to her as I buttoned up. Reaching out to brush her cheek with my fingertips, I tried explaining the situation. "Nancy, you know why I have to go. This is an emergency. Lives depend on it." A bitter laugh escaped her lips, a sound that was both a release and a restraint. "Yes, lives. But what about our lives? Our dreams? We've waited for 5 years, Benjamin. And I see you rushing off to save others while we're left waiting for our rescue." Her words pierced me, reminding me of the sacrifices we had both made. I held her gaze, searching for a way to convey the depth of my conviction. "Nancy, I want this as much as you do, but I can't ignore my oath. I swore to save lives. This is how I make a difference." She leaned into my touch, her eyes closing as if leaning into the connection's strength. When they opened again, vulnerability swirled within them, a silent plea for me to see beyond my duty. "I know you want to make a difference, Benjamin, but can't you see that we need you too? I need you." Our eyes locked, and time was of no essence at that moment, hanging between the choices that defined us. The room held its breath, an unspoken understanding that reached across the divide. With a heavy exhale, I reluctantly withdrew my hand, shouldering my bag as if it were the weight of my conflicting emotions. "I'll come back as soon as I can, Nancy. I promise." Tears shimmered in her eyes, and a defiant look crossed her face. She stood with hands on her hips, daring me. "You're going to have to choose, Ben. Us or the job. Who's it going to be?" I felt emotions rising, tangled threads of love, duty, and ambition. The room seemed to close around us, narrowing to the two of us locked in this pivotal exchange. She couldn't be serious. Is this a joke? My gaze met hers, and time itself seemed to be still for a fleeting instant. My heart ached, torn between the life I had built with her and the calling that had always driven me. She stared at me with defiance. "Pick, Ben." I took a step closer, my hand reaching for hers. "Nancy," I began, my voice soft yet resolute. "You know how much you mean to me. Our dreams, our life together. It's everything I've ever wanted." She didn't waver, her gaze unwavering and steady, as she held my gaze captive. "But Ben, we've been waiting, hoping, for so long. And in the midst of it all, you keep disappearing, chasing emergencies. Can't you see the cost of your dedication?" My pager beeped again. This time it went on consistently. "It's childlessness, Ben," she wailed. I took a deep breath, my resolve strengthening as I let the words form in the space between us. "Nancy, I want nothing more than to be there for you, for us," I confessed, my voice laced with sincerity. "But I also can't ignore the knowledge that my skills and expertise have the power to make a difference. Lives hang in the balance. I have to do this." Her grip on her hips loosened slightly, the tension in her stance softening as my words sank in. I stepped closer still, our breaths mingling in the charged atmosphere. The air was ripe with unspoken emotions. A soft sigh escaped her lips, her voice shaky yet laced with a firm resolve. "So, the job comes first, then?" she asked. My heart clenched at her words, her disappointment and frustration settling on me. There was no getting through to her in this state. "It's not that simple. But right now, I have to go. Let's talk when I'm back," I said, and, without another word, turned away. The door closed softly behind me, leaving a sense of longing and unresolved tension in the space. As I strolled out to the driveway, I knew something had changed. Whether I liked it or not, I'd made a choice. I would have to face the consequences of that action. Enjoy the experience of a romance novel and a tasty cup of coffee. Follow the links